जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी अचत्य दिशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद सिंहदेव भगवान की, निताय गौर की, प्रदीप पाद की। This is seventh canto. Seventh canto. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhatresu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Studying from Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7th, which is entitled as The Signs of God. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की, निताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पाशुपाल की जय. Studying from Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, studying the pastimes of Prahlad Nrsimha Dev, because Nrsimha Jayanti is going to come very soon, so we are preparing for proper mood to worship Lord Nrsimha Dev. Chapter number 10. Chapter number 10 is entitled as chapter number 2. Chapter number 2, Canto number 7. Chapter 2 is entitled as Hiranyakashipu, King of the Demons. I'll read the summary. As described in this chapter, after the annihilation of Hiranyaksha's sons and his brother, Hiranyakasipu were very much aggrieved. Hiranyakasipu reacted very sinfully by trying to diminish the religious activities of people in general. However, he instructed his nephews about a history just to diminish their aggrievement. This is Hiranyakasipu is talking to his nephews, sons of his brother, and this story is narrating to them. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as the boar and killed Hiranyakasipu's brother Hiranyakasipu was very much aggrieved. In anger, he accused the Supreme Personality of Godhead of being partial to his devotees and derided the Lord's appearance as Varaha to kill his brother. He began to agitate all the demons and Rakshasas and disturb the ritualistic ceremonies of the peaceful sages and other inhabitants of earth. For want of the performance of yajna sacrifice, the demigods began wandering unseen on earth. After finishing the ritualistic funeral ceremonies of his brother, Hiranyakasipu began speaking to his nephews, quoting from the Shastras about the truth of life. To pacify them, he spoke as follows: "My dear nephews, for heroes to die before the enemy is glorious. According to their different fruitive activities, living entities come together with this material world and are again separated by the laws of nature. We should always know, however, that the spirit soul, which is different from the body, is eternal, inadjustable, pure, all-pervading and aware of everything. When bound by the material energy, the soul takes birth in higher or lower species of life according to varying association, and in this way receives various types of bodies in which to suffer or enjoy. One's affliction by the conditions of material existence is the cause of happiness and distress. There are no other causes, and one should not be aggrieved upon seeing the superficial actions of karma. Hiranyakasipu then related a historical incident concerning a king Suyagya who resided in the country named Usinara. When the king was killed, his queens, overwhelmed with grief, received instructions which Hiranyakasipu quoted to his nephews. Hiranyakasipu related an account of a Kulinga bird pierced by the arrow of a hunter while lamenting for his wife who had also been shot by the same hunter. By narrating these stories, Hiranyakasipu pacified his nephews and other relatives and relieved them of lamentation. Thus, having been pacified, Diti and Rushabhanu, Hiranyakasipu's mother and sister-in-law, engaged their minds in spiritual understanding. Srinarada Uvacha भारतरि एवं विनिह्यते हरिणा क्रोधमूर्तिना हिरण्यकशिपुराजन् पर्यतप्तदुषासु च. Sri Narad Muni said, My dear King Yudhishthir, when Lord Vishnu in the form of Varaha, the boar, killed Hiranyaksha's brother, Hiranyakasipu was extremely angry and began to lament. Purport: Yudhishthira had inquired from Narada Muni why Hiranyakasipu was so envious of his own son Prahlad. Narada Muni began to narrating the story by explaining how Hiranyakasipu had become a staunch enemy of Lord Vishnu. Aham chedam rusapurna sandastadasanachada kopo jvaladabhyam chakshurbrayam nirikshana dhumambaram. Filled with rage and biting his lips, Hiranyakasipu gazed at the sky with eyes that blazed in anger, making the whole sky smoky. Thus he began to speak. As usual, the demons is envious of Supreme Personality of Godhead and inimical towards him. These were Hiranyakasipu's external bodily features as he considered how to kill Lord Vishnu and devastate his kingdom Vaikuntha-loka. Karala damastrogra drishtya dusprekshya bhrukti mukha sulamutyamya sadasi danavanadim abravita. Existing his terrible teeth, fierce glance, and frowning eyebrows. Terrible to see, he took up his weapon, a trident, and thus began speaking to his associates, the assembled demons. Bho danavadaitaya vimurdakshtakshara sambara satbaho haya griva namuche paka illavala viprachitte mam vacha pulomana sakunadayah Shrinutantaram sarve kriyatamasu machiram. O Dhanavas and Daityas, O Vimurdha, Triyaksha, Sambara, Satabahu, O Hayagriva, Namuchi, Paka, Ivala, O Viprachitti, Puloman, Sakuna, and others demons, all of you kindly hear me attentively and then act according to my words without delay. Sapatne ghatita chudre bharta me darita suhita ashen grahera harina samena dhavane. My insignificant enemies, the demigods, have combined to kill my very dear and obedient well-wisher, my brother Hiranyaksha. Although the Supreme Lord Vishnu is always equal to both of us, namely the demigods and demons, this time, being devotedly worshipped by the demigods, he has taken their sides and helped them kill Hirnyaksha. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Samoham Sarva Bhutesu, the Lord is equal to all living entities. Since the demigods and demons are both living entities, how is it possible that the Lord was partial to one class of living being and opposed to another? Actually, it is not possible for the Lord to be partial. Nonetheless, since the demigods, the devotees always strictly follow the Supreme Lord's order, because of sincerity, they are victorious over the demons, who knows who know that Supreme Lord is Vishnu but do not follow his instructions. Because of constantly remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, the demons generally attain Sayujya Mukti after death. The demon Hiranyakasipu accused the Lord of being partial because the demigods worshipped him. But in fact, the Lord, like the government, is not partial at all. The government is not partial to any citizen, but if a citizen is law abiding, he receives abundant opportunities from the state laws to live peacefully and fulfill his real interests. There is a note. Both the demons and demigods understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be the Supreme Master, but the demigods follow the Master whereas demons defy him. Thus, the demigods and demons are compared to the two co-wives of one husband. Each wife is the sapatni, co-wife, of other, and therefore the word sapatne is used here. In this word for word meaning, sapatne is translated as by the enemies. So here the devas and demigods and demons, they considering each other as their enemies. And the Lord is not partial to any one of them. It's compared that both demons and demigods like their his wives. It's like energies of the Lord. So compared as a wife. But among them there is enmity. Demigods and demons, there is always enmity. Because the demons want to overthrow the demigods and enjoy what they are enjoying. So this enmity is there between demigods and demons. Yet it is mentioned that Lord is not partial. It seems externally that he is partial because he is favoring the demigods. It's like he has killed Hirnyaksha. But actually he is not partial. Prabhupada is giving an analogy how the Lord is impartial. The Lord also has said in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhutesu. For all the living entities, the Lord is Sama, equal, has no partiality. So, but for the devotees, he seems to be partial, but it is not so. Prabhupada is giving this analogy like there is a city and there is a police department. So, both criminals and law-abiding citizens, both are the citizens of the same country, but who are following the rules and regulations, law and order, they are enjoying the facilities of government. But who are again doing criminal activities, they are captured and kept inside the jail. They cannot enjoy the facilities. So, by doing this, government cannot be accused of being impartial to criminals. Similarly, the devotees who are abiding the rules and regulations, following the order of the Lord, are given more facilities. And demons who are trying to harm others, they are actually punished by the Lord. But this is because since they are punished, it cannot be said that Lord is impartial to them. Translation, I'll just read the translation and then some purports of them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency. This is Hiranyakasipu. It is speaking to demons. It is addressing to demons. What is saying? The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency of equality towards the demons and demigods. Although he is a Supreme Person, now influenced by Maya, he has assumed the form of a boar to please his devotees, the demigods, just as restless child leans towards someone. I shall therefore sever Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body I shall please my brother Hinyaksha, who was so fond of sucking blood. Thus shall I too be peaceful. So this is general mentality of demon. He wants to kill the Lord himself. Upal is saying the defect of demoniac mentality is expressed in this verse very clearly. Hiranyakasipu thought that Vishnu also becomes partial like a child whose mind is not steady or resolute. The Lord can change his mind at any time. Hiranyakasipu thought, and therefore his words and activities are like those of children. Actually, because the demons are ordinary human beings, their minds change, and being materially conditioned, they think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is conditioned also. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mamamudha manusim tanum ashritam, fools deride me when I descend in a human form. Demons always think that Vishnu can be killed. Therefore, being absorbed in the thoughts of Vishnu's form to kill him, at least they have the opportunity to think of Vishnu unfavorably. Although they are not devotees, their thinking of Vishnu is effective, and thus they generally attain Sayujya Mukti. Because the demons consider the Supreme Lord an ordinary living being, they think that they can kill Lord Vishnu as one might kill an ordinary person. Another fact disclosed herein is that the demons are very much fond of sucking blood. Indeed, all of them are meat eaters and bloodsuckers. Hiranyakasipu accused the Supreme Lord of having a restless mind like that of a small child who can be induced to do anything if simply offered some cakes and laddus. Indirectly, this indicates the true position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram puspam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upaharitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. The Lord accepts the offering of devotees because of their transcendental love. Because they are in love with the Supreme Lord, they did not eat anything without offering it first to the Lord. The Lord does not hanker for a small leaf or flower. He has enough to eat. Indeed, He is feeding all the living entities. Nonetheless, because He is very merciful and is Bhaktavatsala, very favorable to the devotees, He certainly eats whatever they offer Him with love and devotion. This quality should not be misjudged to be childish. The highest quality of the Supreme Lord is that He is Bhaktavatsala. In other words, He is always extremely pleased with His devotees. As for the word Maya, when used in reference to the dealings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees, this word means affection. This action of the Lord to favor His devotees are not disqualifications but signs of natural affection. As the Ludhira or the blood of the Lord Vishnu, since there is no possibility of severing Lord Vishnu's head from his body, there is no question of blood, but the garland that decorates Vishnu's body is as red as blood. When the demons achieve Sayuja Mukti and leave behind their sinful activities, they are blessed by Vishnu's garland, which is red like blood. After attaining Sayuja Mukti, the demons are sometimes promoted to the Vaikuntha world where they receive the reward of Lord's garland prasada. So here this thinking of demoniac persons is mentioned. The Hiranyakasipu, how is thinking? The Lord, though he is a supreme person, but now is influenced by Maya and he has accepted the form. So this is how people think that whenever the Lord is taking a form, whenever he's coming here, he's coming just like us. By like we influenced by Maya get a body. Similarly, Lord also get in a body. So here Lord Vishnu took the form of a boar, influenced by Maya, and killed his brother Hinyaksha. So for killing, he's already accusing him that he's impartial. Now he is expressing uh, his enmity openly, saying that I'll kill Lord Vishnu and suck his blood. And he's saying that Lord's activities are childish. Why is favoring the demigods? Because they keep offering him something. It's like devotees, whenever they come to see the Lord, they will bring some offerings, some prasad, some fruits, something, some sweets. By getting these things, the Lord becomes favorable to the devotees. It's like a small child when he is pampered and given something, and after that, if he asks to do anything, he becomes ready to do. So the demons, Hinyakasipu is thinking that Lord is also behaving exactly like a small child. Because he's been given so many offerings by demigods, now he's taking their side. But never mind, as he is influenced by the Maya, taken this form of a boar, I will kill him and suck his blood. In this way, I will satisfy my brother and myself, both. So, few mentalities of demons are mentioned here. First thing is, they are thinking that form of the Lord as influenced by Maya. Prabhupada is telling that uh, Lord's taking the side of devotees is Maya, which means affection, which is very natural, because the devotees are abiding by the law of the Lord. Lord is very affectionate towards them. So he takes their side. He favors them out of affection. Not that Lord is influenced by illusion. The illusion can never overtake the Lord. The example is given like clouds can never cover the sun, because the cloud is produced by sun. So similarly, the material nature is produced by the Lord. It can never cover the Lord. The Lord's affection towards the devotee is very natural. So that Maya means here affection. But Hinyakasipu is thinking that Lord has taken an illusory form. So first thing they want to kill the Vishnu, then they think that the Lord is like one of them, and therefore they're thinking that they can kill him. And then here also it's mentioned that the demons are very much fond of sucking blood, eating meat. So these are all some demoniac qualities mentioned here. Text number 9. When the root of a tree is cut and the tree falls down, its branches and twigs automatically dry up. Similarly, when I have killed this diplomatic Vishnu, the demigods for whom Lord Vishnu is the life and soul, will lose the source of their life and wither away. Purport: the difference between the demigods and the demons is here explained. The demigods always follow the instructions of Supreme Personality of Godhead, where the demons simply plan to disturb or kill him. Nevertheless, sometimes the demons very much appreciate the full dependence of the demigods upon the mercy of the Lord. This is indirect glorification of the demigods by the demons. So, Prabhupada is telling that Hinyakasipu is indirectly glorifying the demigods for taking full shelter of the Lord. So he's saying these demigods are fully depending upon the Lord Vishnu. So if I kill Lord Vishnu, then they will naturally die. I don't have to separately put effort. It's like if we cut the tree from the trunk, the whole plants Plant will dry up. No need to separately remove the twig, remove the leaves, all these things. Just cut from the root. One shot. Everything is done. Text 10. While I am engaged in business of killing Lord Vishnu, go down to the planet Earth, which is flourishing due to Brahminical culture and a Kshatriya government. These people engage in austerities, sacrifice, Vedic study, regulative vows, and charity. Destroy all the people thus engaged. Hiranyakashipu's main purpose was to disturb the demigods. He planned first to kill Lord Vishnu so that Lord Vishnu's death, the demigods with the Lord Vishnu's death, the demigods would automatically weaken and die. Another of his plans was to disturb the residents of the planet Earth. The peace and prosperity of the residents of Earth and all the other planets were maintained by the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.13 Chaturvarnyam maya shishtam gunakarma vibhaga saha. According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. On all the planets there are different types of residents, but the Lord recommends referring especially to the planet Earth, which is inhabited by human beings, that society be divided into four varnas: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudra. Before the advent of Lord Krishna on this earth, it is understood that the earth was managed by the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. The duty of Brahmanas is to cultivate sama, peacefulness; Dama, self-control; Titiksha, tolerance; Satyam, truthfulness; Saucham, cleanness; and Arjavam, simplicity. And then to advise the Kshatriya kings how to rule the country or planet. Following the instructions of the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas should engage the populace in austerity, sacrifice, Vedic study, and adherence to the rules and regulations established by Vedic principles. They should also arrange for charity to be given to the Brahmanas, sannyasis, and temples. This is the godly arrangement of Brahminical culture. People are inclined to offer yajna because unless sacrifice are offered, there will be insufficient rains. Yajna bhavati parjanya, which will hamper agricultural activities. Parjanyad anna sambhava. By introducing Brahminical culture, therefore, Kshatriya government should engage people in performing yajna, studying the Vedas and giving charity. Thus, the people will receive their necessity for life very easily and there will be no disturbances in society. In this regard, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3.12, Ishtan Bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yajna bhavita tay dattan apradayebhyo yo bhunte stena eva sa. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, supply all the necessities to men, but he who enjoys these gifts without offering them to demigods in return is certainly a thief. The demigods are authorized supplying agents who act on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of prescribed yajnas. The Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas presented for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what Personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigods is recommended. According to the different material qualities of the persons concerned, different types of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of material nature, and before the goddess of goddess, the sacrifice of animal is recommended. But for those in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. Ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least 5 yajnas, known as Panch Mahayajna, are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that human society requires are supplied by the demigods, agent of Lord, agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Consider, for example, all the eatables of human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, and sugar for persons in mode of goodness, and also eatables for the non-vegetarians such as meats, none of which can be manufactured by man. Then again, take for example heat, light, water, and air, which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by human society. Without a Supreme Lord, no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of Lord, which, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle of existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajna. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy, for they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtan yajna, which can be performed by anyone in this world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. Hiranyakasipu planned to kill the inhabitants of earth so that yajna would stop, the demigods being disturbed would die automatically when Lord Vishnu, the Yajneswara, was killed. Thus, these were the demoniac plans of Hiranyakasipu, who was expert in such activities. So we see that how Hiranyakasipu is thinking to kill all the demons, all the demigods. So two-way plan. First thing is thinking that if I kill Lord Vishnu, because they are so much dependent on the Lord, they will automatically die. Second side is thinking, because all of them, they are getting their feed from the yajnas. So if I disturb all these brahmanas and kshatriyas on earthly planets, then this yajna will be stopped, and they will, out of weakness, they will automatically die. And Lord Vishnu would have been killed, so there will be nobody to help them. So in this way, this surely this demigod will vanish. So this was his master plan, Hiranyakashipu. So here Prabhupada is writing that how performance of yajna is very, very important. Because we have this material body, we need to keep the body healthy. For that we need food, proper food. And said that how one receives the food. By performing the yajna, the demigods are pleased. King Indra is pleased, and then he sends the rain. And because of the rain, only different types of varieties of vegetation is grown. And we survive on this vegetation, we survive on these grains. So by the arrangements of demigods, we are getting food. In fact, on the order of the Supreme Lord, the demigods are also able to supply the rain. So actually it is the Lord only who is supplying everything. So either the Lord or the demigods, when we understand that the rain is being supplied and the food is being therefore produced, is all by the through the demigods or through the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we take the food, and we do not recognize them, then it is considered as stealing. Because this, this is supplied by the demigods, it belongs to them. And we take it and we do not recognize it. Then we are considered as thief. And by accepting the food in such a way, we are subjected to punishment. It is said that if the food which is not offered and directly eaten is sinful, and we become subjected to, we are accounted for all those sins which we are eating in shape of food. So, how we can offer food? It is said that we perform the sacrifices for the pleasure of the demigods, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. In this way, we express our obligations, gratefulness towards the demigods, towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the system established by the Lord, that human being, they will perform sacrifices, and demigods being nourished by these sacrifices, they will supply the necessities, basic necessities for all the life at earthly planet. In this way there will be cooperation and both will exist nicely same time. So Hiranyakasipu, being a demon, he wants to break that system and he wants to establish his supremacy. So he is asking his friends to support him. All the demons, they are naturally thinking in same way. So he's saying that you go to earthly planets and you do these things, stop this chain of sacrifices, and the demigods will become weakened. And while you are doing this, I will go and perform austerities to gain superpower, so that I will be able to kill Vishnu very easily. So he himself engaging himself in this way and sending his friends on the other way. And his master plan is that together we'll be able to replace these demigods and we will kill Vishnu, and in this way we will secure our position. So this is his master plan. The basic principles of Brahminical culture is to satisfy Lord Vishnu, the personification of sacrificial and ritualistic ceremonies. Lord Vishnu is the personified reservoir of all religious principles, and he is the shelter of all the demigods, the great Pitas, and the people in general. When the Brahmanas are killed, no one will exist to encourage the Kshatriyas to perform yajnas, and thus the demigods, not being appeased by yajna, will automatically die. So, purport. Since Vishnu is central point of Brahminical culture, Hiranyakasipu's plan was to kill Vishnu. For if Vishnu were killed, naturally the Brahminical culture would also be lost. With the Brahminical culture lost, yajna would no longer be performed, and for want of yajna, the regular distributions of the rainfall would cease. Yajna vati parjanya. Thus there would be disturbances all over the world, and naturally the demigods would be defeated. From this verse, we get a clear indication of how human society is disturbed when the Vedic Aryan civilization is killed and the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies performed by the Brahmanas stop. Kalau Sudra Sambhava, because the population of the modern world consists mostly of Sudras, the Brahminical culture is now lost and is extremely difficult to re-establish in a proper way. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has recommended the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which will revive the Brahminical culture very easily. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gatiranyatha. Because of the increment in demoniac population, people have lost Brahminical culture, nor is there Kshatriya government. Instead, the government is a democracy in which any Sudra can be voted into taking of the government resigns and capture the power to rule. Because of the poisonous effect of Kali Yuga, the Shastra, Bhagavatham 12.2.13 says, Dasya prayesu rajasu, the government will almost be will adopt the policies of dasyus or plunderers. Thus, there will be no instructions from the Brahmanas, and even if there are Brahminical instructions, there will be no Kshatriyas, rulers, who can follow them. Aside from Satyuga, even formerly in the days when the demons were flourishing, Hiranyakashipu's plan to destroy the Brahminical culture and the Kshatriya government and thus create chaos all over the world. Although in Satyuga this plan was very difficult to execute, in Kali Yuga, which is full of Sudras and demons, the Brahminical culture is lost and can be revived only by the chanting of the Mahamantra. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement or the Hare Krishna movement has been inaugurated to revive Brahminical culture very easily so that people may become happy and peaceful in this life and prepare for elevation in the next. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya quotes this verse from Brahmanda Purana. Vipra Viprayajnadi moolam tu harir iti asuram matam harir eva hi sarvasya moolam samyan mato nipa. O king, the demons think that the Hari, Lord Vishnu, exists because of the Brahmanas and Yajnas, but factually, Hari is the cause of everything, including the Brahmanas and Yajnas. Therefore, through the popularizing of the Hari Kirtana or the Sankirtan movement, the Brahminical culture and Kshatriya government will automatically come back and people will be extremely happy. So here Prabhupada is giving an hint that how one can revive Brahminical culture or Varnashrama Dharma. So it said, Prabhupada is telling, by performing Hari Nam Sankirtan, one can very easily revive this. When we chant and glorify the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then purification happens very quickly and naturally. We see that how one become Brahmanas or Kshatriyas by purificatory processes, by different kinds of samskaras. And while we engage in Harinam Sankirtan, this purification is automatically taking place. So when starts developing higher qualities by joining in Harinam Sankirtan. And in this way, one develops necessary determinations to follow all these rules and regulations. So Prabhupada is telling that by spreading Harinam Sankirtan, we can revive the situation of the world. We can create a class of people who will abide by the Shastras, who will follow the rules and regulations. In this way, there will be peace and prosperity throughout the world. Just we will read next. Next, Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patit Panch Prabhupada ki jai.